welcome back, Purple Rain Royalty, episode 5 review show, Cowboys vs Storm from Saturday night. Aaron, it's never easy jumping on the mic after a really tough loss, but we show up every week and today is no different. We've got a massive show lined up for you, so we've got plenty to run through. We're announcing a brand new sponsor, which you might have seen on the in the socials yesterday. We're launching our new segment, What Grinds My Gears. If you're a Family Guy fan, you'll know all about that one. And trust me, the fan takes that you've got and that you've put into the comments takes this one. And we've got another merch giveaway coming your way, so keep a lookout for on our socials. Aaron, how you feeling, mate?
Yeah, a bit flat after that one. No one seen that coming, but I mean, after last week's little drop out of the game for 18 minutes to have the game in the bag and to, as Bellamy said, blow it. Yeah, it hurts. And coming into a tough month of footy ahead, that was a win we really needed. And I said it in the pre-game: if we lose that game, it's catastrophe. You know, it's serious questions need to be asked. So, yeah, very flat and annoyed.
Mate, let's rip that Band-Aid off then, eh? It's you're flat, I'm flat, we're all flat, but we're going to talk about it. So 28-24 loss versus the Cowboys last night. There's so much to talk about, yet so much that I don't want to talk about. Where do we start, mate? Where do we start? I'm going to start now. Discipline again. Let's talk about our discipline. Now, the point with this is it's not just discipline around errors. Around penalties given, giving 6 again, set restarts. It's just general NRL discipline. It's the dig in hard. It's the shift along the line. It's good defense. It's just make simple passes. It's just do the simple runs. It's just our discipline, but and our inability, mate, to defend our own role and protect our edges is just insane.
Yeah, no, for sure. We gave the Cowboys every opportunity to score. Every time they put points on, it's off the back of just a silly error. I mean, from the kickoff, Sewer puts it out on the full. We talked about starting fast. That's the worst we could have started. The first set, they're inside their 20. Then you look further. Harry drops the ball, picking up from dummy half. That's a momentum killer. Stefano dropped my ball on his chest when we're going downfield, looking like we can put some more points on. Just these little things that really put the pressure on that we didn't need to put on ourselves. And we talked about playing simple, and we just failed to do it.
Yeah, it pains me. It pains me. And this is something I know you're going to elaborate a lot further on, but I know that you're going to say, and I'm going to preempt this conversation with what you're going to say, but our left side defense is just it's probably the worst defense in the competition, Aaron. I know that in Supercoach podcasts, they talk about targeting players from the Storm left edge. I know that in standard podcasts, they talk about our left side. They talk about the left side defense, like almost every week. It pops up in everyone's podcast. And to be honest, mate, we've been talking about this for. I mean, I've been saying this since 2024, so and we're continuing now. Did we lose the game because of that left edge? There were some really key points that I don't want to steal from you that you're going to mention about the right side, but I legitimately think the left side was what actually really cost us that game, and just it completely messes our entire defense. Like, you just watch the way that we tried to overcompensate, and our middles move so far to the left. Our Munster's, for someone who we love and we know likes to play defense, just has to try and overcompensate and just makes bad moves that costs us Not because he's a bad defender, but because he knows what's on the left side of him. Like, do you, let's touch on this, Aaron. Let's talk.
So I think there was 3 tries down the left, 2 down the right, and 1 from a kick last night. So the first try of the game, Braden Burns gets over in the corner. And I thought the inside defence was pretty good. I thought Alec shifted out there. Munster was up in the line. He was nice spacing there. And then once the ball got out to the outside, it looked like Brown come off his wing and shot out to come and try and intercept there. And when he did, Moses Leo was a bit flat-footed. As soon as that winger shoots in, Moses Leo has to start heading back for the corner. He can't just... I don't think he missed it by much, but like he needs to be onto that. As soon as that winger shoots, he should be off. And the fact that he wasn't off allowed Braden Burns to push through, get to the line. Now, Sewell was coming across in cover defence, but only meets him on the line. Sewell's never going to stop that. That is, like, I understand it was piss poor contact, and Sewell should have put his body on the line and just cop the bump, get flattened, and just eat it up. Like, he should do that anyway. But if Moses gets half a second off the line earlier, or even less than half a second, if he just starts moving as soon as he should, he makes contact a metre out, and Burns is already heading towards the sideline, and then Sewell's just got to chime in and push him out. So that first one, too easy, and definitely the outer two, I think the Brown and Moses combination there just got it a little bit wrong. So that's the first one. Then I think... they scored off a kick, which, I can't put that down to either edge. That was just a nice catch by Clifford. We'll go on from that. And then we got out to 24-10 after half-time. We scored first after half-time. We're 14 points up. And then they scored 2 tries on the right. So we're not going to say that's the left that caused the issue there, but those 2 tries on the right were the ones that got them back to even in the game. And then when the game was on the line... there's 2 more really bad decisions out. Well, not bad decisions. One really bad decision when Moses Leo just let, who was it? Helam Lukey threw a gap on the outside between him and Brown. There's not even a metre there. I don't know how he gets through there. Like, they got to talk. They've got to be better than that. The gap wasn't there, and they let him through. And then the last one, mate, Brown just ended one-on-one 15 metres off his line and missed a one-on-one tackle. He didn't even... It's a terrible one-on-one tackle. So, yes, the left did contribute to the loss, and I think everyone would be, heavily, up in arms about how that left's playing defence at the moment. But I don't think the right was that good either, to be honest. Those 2 tries they scored with McIntyre and Tuilagi out that way. Not much better. I know Mania was out there and he was filling in on that edge because, we'd lost Howarth and it's another rookie combination out there and teams are just picking us apart both edges. So I'm not going to single one edge out. I'm just going to say our edge defence has been terrible and that's both edges.
Discipline. Again, let's talk about this now in terms of errors and penalties. Out the start to the game, Aaron, our discipline was pretty atrocious, hey?
Yeah, I mean, the penalties were 5 apiece. We only conceded 3-6 against. So it's not like... It wasn't the reason we lost, and it wasn't the worst discipline I've ever seen, but like... When we're making all those handling errors, all those poor decisions, and we're putting ourselves under the pump, when you give those disciplinary issues up and you give them more opportunity to put pressure on us, it just gasses you. So like our handling and our decisions were bad, and then those little, the leg pull from Mania, the little shoulder charge that got put on report or whatever you want to call it, where he hit him in the head. I just think that's just these little things that just piled on top of the pressure we'd already put on ourselves, made it really hard to come back from.
Yeah, I'm not going to say this is not the reason. We didn't lose the game because of it. But as you rightfully and very well articulated, it amplifies everything. And when you have a left edge defense that was as bad as it showed last night, when you have a right edge defense that just didn't stick up as usual, when you have middles that can't break lines and get more than 100 meters, these sorts of things are what you have to do and what you have to lock in so that you're not amplifying it and making it harder. You're not putting yourself in bad field position. You're not defending on your 20 over and over again. You're not, putting pressure on your attack to hold and keep, and you can put point pressure on. Like we were 24-10 up with 10 minutes to go. We didn't really have super control of the game. We just had the class to finish off and do things to get us that lead. When you're doing those bad, disciplined things that we know Bellamy absolutely rips into our team about and writes on the board, this is what you have to do. And we've been saying it for so long. It breaks your heart as a Storm fan.
Yeah. Look, I mean, in that first half, there was a time where we completed 9 of 9 sets. Now, that whole time, I'm sitting there holding on for dear life. They've scored first without Hughes there. Hughes has put one kick that landed on the line for Wilbrick. It was a perfect kick, and Warbrick, great take to put it down and finish. That was fantastic. And then he comes back with 2 try assists after that, Jerome Hughes, to keep us in the game, really. He hits Sewer on an inside line, razzle-dazzle through the line, and then puts it down. That was really nice. And then that beautiful pass over the top to Warbrick to put him in there. Without Hughesy in that first half, just holding on, just keeping the team in it, it's a whole different game. So the stats might show we completed high, but like the errors and the discipline and the things that kept the Cowboys in the game are concerning, really concerning.
Let's continue with some concerns. Because unfortunately most of it's going to be, there'll be a few things we'll talk about, but let's continue with this. So, our middles. This is something I spoke about in the very first podcast, that if Stefano isn't on, who is that next guy? Stefano was not on last night. He walked off in the first half, hobbling, came back with 27 minutes to go in the second half, had a good run where he offloaded it, but didn't really do much else. But unfortunately, the story here is our middles. Only one player got more than 100 metres, and that was Chan, and he's an edge back rower. He's not particularly through the middle. Liero, 57 metres. King, 85 metres. Cooper Clark, 72 metres in 43 minutes. Tuakama Kamika, 82 metres in 25 minutes. I said Liero. So, like, Alec McDonald on the edge, 49 metres. And then you look at Chan, who sticks out like, I don't know, like something that the old proverbial saying around a male dog. Like, with 111.
So, look, the Cowboys only had 2 forwards that got over 100 metres as well. So, I mean, it's not as if the game was won in the middle. Like, it wasn't.
Cohen has 107, Taumalolo 150. Like, that's...
Yeah, no, Taumalolo was great. But, like, what I'm saying there is the more concerning facts there, not necessarily the run meters, but Steph's had 9 runs, King's had 10 runs, Clark's had 10 runs, Tui's had 6 runs, Alex had 6 runs, Trent's had 6 runs. Like, we're not even using them. Like, how can they... We made 1,200 metres for a team, 1,200 metres for the whole team, and then your fullback and your winger in Warbrick and Sewer have made 400 of those. So, really, the rest of the side has put together 800 metres, and 2 blokes have put up 400. So there's something's gone wrong.
So, I guess the next thing that concerns me about that is that, Tui in 25 minutes has 82 metres, has no tackle breaks, has no line breaks. So no breakthrough. Cooper Clark in his 40-odd minutes for his 72, which I actually thought he played pretty well, to be fair. I found it hard not to put him in the votes or in my own votes because I just thought when he came on he did well. But 3 tackle breaks, no line breaks. Trent Liero, 57 metres off his 6 runs, as you said, in his 60 minutes. 2 tackle breaks, no line breaks. Josh King, 85 run meters, not one tackle break, not one line break. And then Stefano, with his 84 meters, not one tackle break, not one line break. It's. Oh yeah, go. Sorry, mate.
I was just going to say that I thought Trent did defend well in the middle. I think he made 40 odd tackles and didn't miss any. So I thought that was, at least he's playing strong on the defensive end. I mean, we need to see more from him on the attack, but he was defending well. I thought Alec really was the same. And Alec didn't miss one as well. He tackled it 100%. And the other one was Steph. So those 3 guys, at least they're showing in the middle that they're going to defend. So I know that doesn't mean much, but it's a positive for them.
I truly believe that this is a concern when you're playing against the Cowboys up there and your middle don't do what they've done, and then I think our middle has been pretty good but not great so far, and now you've just gone and put that up in a loss that's made us 2-2 against the opponent that's going to come up against us next week. There's some serious questions that need to be answered, and some really big going, because we're going to need those forwards to do a lot more.
I think next week we're going to have to put Jack in there. I think we need to make a change. We need some spark off the bench. We need someone who's going to come in and bring some aggression, because it just looks like they're going through the motions and not. We need some aggression out there. You can't just run into the pack and take a hit up. You want to try and bust the line. You want to bend it, and we're not bending it at the moment.
I'll give you another guy. Going them. You want to talk Jack? What about Davey Moali? I don't care that he's only here for 1 year. We want to win 2026.
Well, obviously Howard's hurt his groin, and we're going to have to fill some spots there. I think, maybe Jack, maybe Moali. What's Pahulu done last week in reserve grade? I don't know, but he's fit and he's ready. So can he provide a spark? I mean, I know it's chopping and changing your team and not having a consistent 17 or 20 players, whatever the bench is this year. I know that adds a bit more pressure, but if they're not doing the job and they're not getting through their tasks that have been assigned to them, there needs to be questions asked. And I mean, sometimes dropping someone is the best way to put a rocket up their ass, basically.
The best competition and pressure on a team is competition for spots. And when players feel like there's pressure on spots and that you don't have a given and that you don't own that spot, that's when you start to perform, especially when you've got people in your background or off your bench starting to put in for you. I legitimately think that we've got these guys like your Mawalis, your Hetheringtons, like you said, Pulu, etc., that need to start putting pressure on our people. Okay, so the next point I want to talk about is our inability to catch the high ball or defend the kicking game. We literally refused to catch the ball. There was 3 times, Seward twice, Warbrick once, who refused to catch the ball, lets the ball bounce. Seward's both that he let the ball bounce. One of them bounced until it got to the in goal, and then we had to push it out. There was the one with Warbrick lets it bounce, and then he picks it up from the in goal instead of taking it off the 10 meter and runs, and he saves himself with a really good run. But then even just defending the high ball, that first try that Clifford, remember, this is a half. He was playing in the 6 jersey. Drinkwater kicks it, good kick, through the middle, absolutely good kick. Hughes says, I've got it. That calls Liera out. Clifford literally, it's a bloody half who walks through, basically just runs through, takes a chest mark, drops it. That was the first try or the early try. Then in the second half, the same thing happens off the same play. They push it to the right. Drinkwater gets it off the play, the ball. he kicks it up, and it's only because of an offside that they stuff it up, because Clifford literally runs through ready to go. We just had no effort to want to take it. I've been saying this, it's been the bane of my existence in watching the Storm. We have a very clear, over the last couple of years, we have a very clear directive, it just seems, because we do it all the time. We just don't go and get the ball. We just don't get it. We don't go up in the fifth tackle kicks that put so much pressure on ourselves because we allow it to bounce and hope the hell that the ball bounces backwards so that we can go get it. Like, it's really frustrating me, Aaron.
Well, last year on that right edge, Katoa's cleaning that ball up every day of the week. Like, if that ball goes up there in that gap, Katoa's going to take it. He's got safe hands, big, massive buckets. So he'd be after that. But you're right. Jerome Hughes went up for that ball, and everyone else just seemed to stay away. Like, I'd prefer to have three blokes go up for that ball and at least look like you want it, rather than let Clifford come through and just snatch it and put it down to try it. He was on fire at that point of the game. He'd carved us up through the middle. He was the one looking most dangerous, and they went for him on that edge, and it worked.
It's even beyond that. There was two instances in the second half when they put the fifth tackle kick option up. We had three guys go and get it, and we spilled it. They then clean it up.
The dropped ones were both pretty bad. That's right in the point when we were up. I think that's when we were up by 14 points. I think that was, I think so. I think it's when we were up by that much. We dropped those two balls. Now, they didn't score off either of those two drop balls, but it did give them a lot of field position, and it did give them a bit of momentum. And those two drop balls there, followed by the Stefano, just dropped it cold. There was no pressure on him, just dropped one cold. That was where momentum changed, and then we faced a very rough 7 minutes.
That's a good segue to talk about that. 10 minutes up, 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think
Harry Grant makes one of the best. Sorry?
I think it was 13 minutes to go. 13 minutes to the 6 minute mark is this period we're talking about.
Okay, so 13 minutes to go. Harry Grant gets the ball on the right edge, 10 metres from the sideline, even if not further, makes one of the best out of the play of the ball passes you're ever going to see, where he literally just picks it up, throws it out to his right, Warbrick cleans it up, puts it in through his fourth try. What went wrong from there?
That's the best dummy half pass I've ever seen, I think. Mate, off the deck to hit someone there, I reckon 10 metres is, I reckon 20. That's gone at least 17, I reckon.
And make that go backwards? How many times have we seen that go forwards? And to make that at least look like it's going on the line or backwards? Unreal.
In the press conference, I just want to mention this because I cannot get around this. In the press conference, Dearden and Payton sat there. They got asked about Harry Grant's pass, and both of them said it was forwards. Now, go and watch it again. Anyone, go and watch it again. After I heard that press conference, I'm like, I'm going to have to go watch this again because I thought it was just brilliant. I went and watched it again. There's no way in the world that went forward. So I think Todd Payton and Dearden were just, they were hoping.
What went wrong from there, Aaron?
Well, everything, to be honest, everything. We let the McIntyre try. They were just on a roll coming downhill. For some reason, we just stood on our line. We didn't get off our line. We didn't meet him in the middle. We just let him crash on the line. And it's very hard to stop a bloke that big who's running that hard on your line. Like, if we get up, at least we're meeting him at a metre or a metre and a half out, and we can try and stop that. But I don't think, we didn't initiate contact. We just accepted the run, basically. And of course, you're not going to stop him if he's doing that. He's a big boy.
Then that one, I know you're going to keep going, and do so. But that one actually started from the dummy half. Sonny Luke, just scrambles off that, gets the ball and just runs. We don't even really attack. We're flat-footed. He then puts it to Drinkwater, and Drinkwater hits McIntyre for that try.
I'll go back a little bit before that. What that started from is we they kicked the ball long, and Munster watched it and didn't put his foot on the line, and like that's just a bad decision. Like he's been around for what I think he's in his I'm going to say 12th season or something like that. He's followed that back from the touchline, and he's just watched it bounced out. Now, have a go at it. There's no point watching it. If you're not sure, have a go at it. Either put your foot on the line or touch the line, or at least try and catch it, because either way, at least you've backed yourself up there. So he's just left that bounce. They've come down the field. Sonny Luke's come on. Big change in styles compared to the way that Reid Marnie likes to just get the ball off the deck, whereas Sonny Luke is a bit more crafty. He likes to pick the ball up. He came on, had a little bit of spark there, and he did get out over the line, and then they roll down forward, and then, they crush over the line. But the fact is, we let them dictate the pace of that play, and we had an opportunity to slow it down, and we didn't. So that was the turning point. That was the first try. And then, then we were... It's that momentum washing machine, it's like it's really hard to get it back. You need to do some things that will change it up, and they head back out to the left, and Murray Tuilagi scores out there, and the gap between Mania and Will Warbrick, it wasn't I don't want to say it was bad. Mania hasn't played a lot of footy out there, and the combination's not there, but they made that look too easy, and that got the game back to a tie with, I think there was, at that stage, I think we're looking at 9 or so minutes to go, and the game's tied. And then, it's do or die from there. They come down the right edge. There's nothing on, not nothing on. We've shifted out there. We've spaced well. It looks like we've got it under control. It's a one-on-one tackle out on the wing. Brown goes to bump Burns, and Braden Burns literally just ran over him. Now, I know Burns is a strong man, boy, whatever you want to call him, and I know Tuimalatu Brown, so he's a big boy too. Like he should be able to at least make contact and get in front there. And if he wants to run over you, great. Let's get there and let him run over you, but don't bounce off him. Not for a game winner on the edge. Like he literally got bounced. Terrible.
So, just quickly, it was that try was Lukey. That 8-minute try was Lukey, and he runs over Leo. That was just weak defence. But I'll touch on the fact that it's like Clifford goes to kick at him, before that, Clifford was kicking at 1 of 5, I think it was, or 1 of 4.
Yeah, 1 of 4.
And Drinky, most of those kicks, to be honest, Aaron, were pretty gettable for him. There was one that was from the sideline, but then Drinkwater comes in and kicks that one and makes it. Like, it could have been a hell of a lot worse if Clifford had his kicking boot on.
Harry kicked pretty badly as well, though. We kicked, I think, 2 from 5 as well. So, the kicking tee was a little bit shonky last night, it seems.
Then it was the Cowboys were fighting. Like they were fighting. They were defending the kit. They were defending. Their line speed was good. They pinned us into the 20. There was that 16-meter set with 5 minutes to go. That was off the back of I think it was a Warbrick catch or whatever it was, but it was a 16-meter set. Hughes kicks it from the 20. It was just before the 20. And then that just stuffs everything up because they literally from that set go down there, and that's what you were talking about with the Tuimalatu Brown try, a tackle allowed try to Burns. But off the back of that, take a step towards that, and it was even Moses Leo attempting to try and he went up to tackle, and then the dude passed it. And Leo continued to keep trying to tackle. He was too busy trying to tackle an empty man or bump it or put pressure on it than to actually defend what was happening. From there, then, the 2-6 agains really hurt. They just kept going and going and going. And then... then we get the 2-6 agains. Munster throws it to STB. It was a loose carry. Should have been a strip. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, should have been a strip, probably. But the commentary seemed to be pretty happy that you're allowed to strip it there. I mean, it was. I don't know. I can't go and blame that non-call or call or however you want to call it. I can't sit here after just conceding 3 tries in 7 minutes and then go, that should have been a strip. Fair call, maybe it should have been, but like honestly, we put ourselves in the position.
I can though, like, call the game as what the game is. Irrelevant of position, irrelevant of time, irrelevant of clock, or anything like that. If that's not a loose carry, and if you're going to call the one that was at the start of the game a loose carry or a strip, I think it was, and then not call that one, yeah, inconsistency within one game, only because it was the last few minutes, only because it was on the try line, is the only reason why that game was, why that was not called, why that was called a strip, the loose carry instead of a strip. That's that.
Yeah, I'll jump in there, and like another moment again where I think there was a call there that could have been made, which was the right one. And I know this is a shit rule, and I'm not saying it's not, but if you tackle someone in the air on their line,
put your arms around him, touch him. Yep.
That's a tackle. So he's given away a penalty on the line, and Brown's missed scoring a try by 30 centimetres, right? Forget what the rule is. Forget. How do I say this? Like, yeah, he did grab him in the air, and you have called a penalty. Now, are you telling me that if he didn't grab him in the air, are you telling me that Brown doesn't make 30 centimetres there and we don't score? But the umpire's happy to call a penalty and say, okay, this is just a penalty, but it's not a professional foul and it's not a penalty try because it was on the line and because he would have scored? Like, piss off. That pissed me off.
Yeah, that does. Look, that's it. I don't care I actually don't mind the rule. I'm not into the commentators' rule, like, oh, this is a crap rule, but that's because they're old school. Like, this is, at the end of the day, the whole point of the rule is to allow the guy to go up and get it and then land, and then you have to, as a defender, do it. So either you're going to go up and try to take the mark or make contact. You're welcome to make contact in the air if you're looking like trying to get it. You are not allowed to make any contact with a guy if you choose to keep your feet and allow him to come down. That's as simple as that. And that's one of those preventative rules that I don't mind because, yes, okay, that was soft. Yes, he didn't really do much. Yes, he mistimed it because all he wanted to do was try and get him to get to the ground and then take the tackle, which is what he did. But he mistimed it by a slight second. But you're right. If to say that he lands, and because he lands in the field of play and not in the in goal, it's not a penalty try, is just ludicrous. Ludicrous.
Yeah, he scores for sure. If he doesn't get grabbed in the air, he scores, I think, every time there. Every single time. Because he gets to land and then push off rather than land being pushed.
So he landed influenced by the player. Yep.
Correct. He landed being pushed, whereas alternatively, he would have landed and then pushed off, and then he's only got to make 30 centimetres. Yep. I think he scores every time. I think I get it. I'm a bit biased, and I want that to be a try. And on the other hand, if that happened to us, I'd be like, what is he supposed to do? Didn't come and spoke to the ref, and I think he pointed out a very good point. What do you want him to do? He's trying to just corral him to the ground. He's trying to just stand there and then make contact. Correct. Don't touch him. It's as simple as that.
If you choose to keep your feet, if you choose to keep, the rule is simple. If you choose to keep your feet and wait for him to, and then you have to wait for him to get his feet on the ground. If you choose to go up and contest for it, make as much hard contact as you can. The rule allows that to happen, as long as you don't tackle him in the air while you're up in the air. That's even worse. But do that. But if you choose to keep your feet and not contest the ball, then keep your bloody hands off them and don't touch them. It's as simple as that. And I'm on the other side of that. As if we were to do that, then so be it. That's the rules. Like, it's as simple as that. What else is he supposed to do? Let him get on the ground. That's as simple as that. There's no argument here. And this rules come in because last year you had Xavier Coates just dominating people in the air last year, and Mark Nwanganiwasi dominating in the air, and so but then there was just so many like players getting injured or players getting hurt because they were just literally trying to tackle through the air. And it just blows my mind. But I just don't think. I think the commentators can just pull their heads in on that, and I think others that whinge about it can just pull their heads in because it's a simple rule.
I think what really grinds my gears. I think we're going to go back to that a little bit. So with the commentary, so we'll get to that.
All right, let's end this game on a positive. We lose the game 28-24 after giving up 18 points. Warbrick, 4 tries in a losing effort is just mind-blowing.
Solid start to the year. I think has he got 6 or 7 for the year now?
7.
7. He started really well, and without X there, we've had this blueprint where our wingers would get through a lot of work, 15 to 20 runs a game, and hopefully run for 200 metres. X and Warbrick both do that week in, week out, and to have, I really feel like having Tuimaladu Brown out there on the wing, only getting through 50 metres and only having a handful of runs. If we're going to play him, we're going to have to ask him to take 10, 15 runs plus. If he's going to play, that needs to be his KPIs. You need to help the backs get some metres. So that's one side of it. And the other side of it is if he's not going to do that, maybe that combination between Munster and Moses and the winger, maybe that's not working. Maybe you put Moses out there. Maybe you shift Means back into the centres and get a little bit more trust there. And you put Moses out on the wing, who's a strong boy, and just tell him to run straight. Just run straight, and if you come off your line, Means will be there to cover you on the edges because he's played there. He understands the systems. So maybe next week, which is going to be hard because they're a bloody good side, Penrith, but maybe that's what you do to try and shore up that edge.
I just think some serious changes need to happen entirely, to be honest. If we're just going to quickly touch on next week before we move into the new segment, which I know we're excited to get into, but I honestly think that there needs to be some very major changes. I wouldn't mind. I'm not 100% on this, but I think this helps. I would like Munster to go to fullback. I'd put Sewer out on the wing. I'd have Wishart come into the 6, and then I'm going to play Stefano, Grant, Moali, Clark on an edge, Trent on the other edge, and put Josh King at the 13. That's kind of... I foresee that Howarth is probably not going to get up. Word is that he's done his hip. I haven't had a chance.
Groin.
Yeah. When they announced that he was off, they had a big... In the caption, it said hip, but cool. So groin... Yeah. I don't know if he gets back. I don't know if he gets back or not. But if he doesn't get back, I just think we need dogs and we need big bodies. And I'm okay with giving away penalties and things like that. If our big boys just stop the run next week against just a powerful pack that are just rolling in front of Nathan Cleary, who has just got the world at his oyster because his pack is just killing it. And then his edges look fantastic, but that's because all the work's getting done through the middle, and then they've just got to finish it off with some class. Jenkins is on a roll at the moment, but yeah, I just think some serious changes needs to happen, and I'd like to see something change. Now that hurts because Sewer has been probably or comfortably our best player through the first 4 games if you take the whole season on board. But Munster at fullback, I think we lose the Sewer run, but we store up a bit of leadership, which is something we need. That's important.
See, I can't move Sewer. I think that's going too far. I mean, I know what you're saying, but I just can't do it. I think he's 4 games in. He's done everything to hold his spot there. I wouldn't be taking it away from him. I think we told him we'd give him a chance. I think we stick with it. I did get sent a team from Grant Bordeaux last night, and I actually like his take for next week. He said Sewer, Brick on the wing, Meaney and Jack at centre, Leo on the other wing, then Munro, Steph, Kingy and Trenny in the pack. They had Chan and Moali on the edges, and then the bench would be Wishy, Clark, Hetherington and Macca. And I actually like that. I don't think Jack will play, so we're going to have to change that one. But other than that, I don't mind that idea of putting Leo out to the edge on the wing, and then I'd put Means back into the centres.
All right, let's. Anything else you want to finish on about the game and Penrith?
Nah, I think we're good.
Give us your 3-2-1.
I gave 3 to Husey. I thought in the first half when everything went wrong for us and when we were trying to stay in the game, he came up with 3 try assists and he kept us in the game. So that's a bit stiff on Will, who's had 4 tries, but Will landed on 3 of those tries basically. One was a perfect kick, one was a perfect pass, and the other one from Harry, that from dummy half, that was, mate. So he's landed on 3 of those tries. So I'm giving the 3 votes to Husey. My 2 votes goes to Will. Very stiff not to get 3, especially with 4 tries, but my 2 votes goes to Will. And my 1 vote, I think I have to give it to Harry. I thought he tried, and I thought I think I give the 1 to Harry.
I'm going to go 3 Warbrick. I get that what you're saying exactly, but 4 tries is 4 bloody tries. Some people don't even get that in a whole season. So I've gone 3 for Warbrick. I've gone 2 to Hughes. Without Hughes, and you very well articulated throughout this podcast, without Hughes, we're in big trouble. So I gave 2 to Hughes, and 1, I really liked his game. I thought he did really well. He tried his ass off when he came on. I'm giving 1 to Cooper Clark.
Good.
Let's go into. Oh, okay. So here we go. Let's end on something. Do you really want to know what grinds my gears? Something really fun, Aaron. I was super, super, super excited about this with the view and the hope that we would win this game. This would have been so much more fun. It's still going to be fun, but there'll be let's talk into our brand new segment called What's Grind My Gears. If you are a Family Guy a Family Guy fan, you'll know all about what Peter says and how he goes on the radio and does what's really grinds my gears. And I've spent the last couple of days having a lot of fun sitting in Google searches going, what's grind my gears, and listening to some of the parts and how we've worked and how that works, and I think it's hilarious. I'm really keen for this. This is something we're going to do. Obviously, at the moment, we opened up this What's Grind My Gears to everything, get anything, and we've got 22 comments in there. So there's a few in there, but we've picked one. So, Aaron, there's one that you're particularly keen on, or there's a couple that you're particularly keen on, but just pick your favourite one and let's read it off and let's talk about it.
Probably the favourite one I've got there was someone said about the biased commentary. And last night when I turned on and it was Vossi and Brandy, I just thought to myself, oh, great. Brandy is a famous Storm hater. He never has anything nice to say. He always likes to see us lose. And he'll probably say he doesn't, but it's like subconsciously the commentary that he always gives for us is very... very dry, and he looks for an opportunity to praise the other side. So I thought that he was I hate getting him as a commentator on our games. And then Vossi, I just think he's just a New South Wales focused commentator, and to get both of them on a game where we lose, and especially lose like that after last week, it felt like they had a free shot at us, and they question decisions, and they tell the ref that he's made the wrong decision against us, and it pisses off Storm fans, and I can understand completely where they're coming from. I feel like muting it, but what's my other option? I need to hear the game, and mate, by the end of that game, I wouldn't mind 5 rounds with Brandy, to be honest, but
I'm going to read those comments, Aaron. I'm going to read those comments, because that's what they put in there for. So, Mike Shannon, I want to know your thoughts on biased commentary in games. It seems that some, not all, commentators seem over-energetic when a certain side is winning. I've listened when Storm are leading games, and the talk is mostly about what the other team need to do to get back in the game, not how well Melbourne are doing and what they need to go on with it. The only time it really goes that way is when the Storm get into a more than comfortable lead with little chance of opposition even looking like scoring. This isn't Storm games either. Very unbiased commentator from it was who he missed, and that's Rabs. Another comment from Deborah McIntyre. Watching the game on Fox and the commentators are not neutral. And there was another one. Listening to Michael Innes commentate and saying that some of the commentators that have a clear agenda against teams or a bias towards a certain team hurts my soul. That's from Matthew Quinnell. And another one, Linley McDonald. The constant bias by the New South Wales journos and negativity grinds my gears.
I think the best one that I ever heard, going on the commentary thing, the best one I ever heard was the 2020 Grand Final. Storm were up by 20 points, maybe 20 points. I think it might have been 22 points. I'm not sure on the numbers there. It's a long time ago. And Phil Gould come out and said at halftime, he said, Penrith are on top of this game. They are on top. And I was, mate, you could have knocked me out with a feather. It was COVID. I was sitting at home. I had no one to talk to about it because we were locked in my house. And Phil Gould's come out with Penrith are on top here. I can turn it up.
All right, the next one. I'm going to read this one as one that I think's a really good one. The protected players. This was done by Cam Mack, or species as he likes to call them, such as Walsh, Cleary, Luai, just to name a few. I've got another one to add to that, Stephen Crichton. So many high shots or grubby acts, and they always get off. I just want to see consistency. If one player gets a sin bin and or a week or for a high shot, then so should the player that did a very similar thing, but is one of the protected species. Just because they are franchise players that put bums on seats and sell jerseys doesn't mean they have a different set of rules. That's what grinds my gears. Thanks for letting me vent. He needed to vent. Now, I'll touch on this quickly before you jump in there, Aaron, but this is something that's really, really grinded my gears for years. And and it's even been mentioned this year, and it's not even so much as the protected species, but just the inconsistencies that this points out with it. The amount of times, like Nathan Cleary at the start, because he's going to put bums on seats for the biggest game of the year, which will potentially be that one, which was round 1 against the Broncos. And if Cleary doesn't play, potentially Broncos run, and they need that for that blockbuster game. But that should have been a 2-week suspension, and it wasn't. Yet we've already seen in the first 4 weeks people getting, for innocuous hits, getting 1 week suspension and things like that for not something near as big as what Cleary's was. Stephen Crichton is so protected. That guy can't even get a penalty. Yet let alone get suspended for hits that he blatantly throws through people's faces. Reece Walsh is the pretty boy. Now, I'm a big fan of Reece Walsh's. I really like the way he plays. I think he's great for our game. I love that he's an Indigenous guy. I love what he does. I love his what he stands for in terms of how he plays and his banter, and like the toilet water thing I just think it's funny. But we know that he's protected. Like, he's literally a protected species. It's just mind-blowing, and it really does piss me off.
Yeah, look, I want to just jump in there, and I'll say that the Storm have had a few people on that pedestal as well. I mean, Cameron Smith's whole career was very polarising. People used to think he got away with more than others, and let's be honest, we all know he did. And whether that's because he's a protected species or a koala, as some people want to call it, unfortunately, there's a bit of tall poppy syndrome that goes along with this. So the ones that are cut and dry as just clear favouritism to certain players, well, they're obviously concerning. But the ones that are 50-50, it's the noise that comes from below. It's the noise that comes from the opposing fans that want to see those players rubbed out because they don't want to play them. Now, that noise is amplified and it's louder because of the quality of the player we're talking about. We're talking about guys like Reece Walsh, who's just gone on the best patch of 8 games or 7 games we've ever seen. We're talking about players like Stephen Crichton, who's come up with the biggest moments ever in sport. He's won grand finals off his own back. He's won Origins. He's done things that are just crazy. Then, you know, it's the noise from the opposing fans that makes this protected species chat louder, I think.
I know that Cameron Smith definitely got away with a few things, but I don't think Cameron Smith really got away with some of the glaring things that we have. And the thing that people are pissed off about with what you're saying and what the Storm are saying is that the Storm get away with stuff because they play within the rules but find glitches and system pieces that can do it, and that's what pisses people off, is that we've been able to do it, and you know we've been able to do play the ball for so long and blah blah blah. Well, it's because we just do it really well, and it's the same with Penrith. People hate Penrith because, you know, they get penalties or they get to do and they've been able to have it, and they call pen ref and all that. It's because they just do it so much better than anyone else, and teams are just jealous because their teams haven't been good enough to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's that dark arts chat that everyone talks about, and Storm were the kings of the dark arts, and now you talk Penrith are the kings of the dark arts because they're doing things that are pushing the boundaries, that are within the rules, but also are pushing the limit that far that other teams are like, why can they get away with it? Well, the reason you can get away with it is because you are walking the fine line. You're not crossing it. You're tiptoeing along it. And good teams and well-coached teams will do that, and they always will do that. So the teams that aren't doing it will sook about it because they're just not up to speed. They haven't got there yet. They're lacking behind in those little finer things that make you a better football team.
That's 100% summed it up incredibly well. Well done, man. Last one. Let's talk about it.
Well,
this is Shannon McIntyre's one.
Yeah, he put the salary cap, and it's about the commentary and the fans and everyone's. You can maybe read the comment, but yeah, read the comment. It's easier.
I'll read it and then you jump in. Why does the Storm salary cap scandal get brought up every time they're successful, but other clubs' breaches barely get mentioned? Is it actually about fairness or just because people hate Melbourne winning? And then there was a comment here from Phil Ross. I think Gallup made it look worse than it was. Don't get me wrong. We did the wrong thing, but other clubs did not receive the harsh punishment that we did.
I hadn't actually read Phil's comment there, but what I had written to talk about on the back of this, what grinds my gears, is I wrote that David Gallup burned the Storm that hard that he effectively ruined the 2010 season. He was prepared to put the Storm out for a whole year to play for no points just to prove his point that we'd cheated the cap. Now, teams in the past that had cheated the cap, the year that they cheated it, they were punished for it. This followed over into another year. This was groundbreaking. No one had ever done that. Uncharted territory. And we lost 3 minor premierships, 2 premierships. We paid $1.5 million. And the fact that the penalty was so big, everyone hasn't forgot about it. Go back in history and you look at the Doggies. They lost points for 1 year, but it was the year that they got found out is the year that they got punished in. Ours rolled over to 2010, and everyone has always remembered our one because it was unheard of. It was new. It was something that no one expected to happen. So I think the other fact is we won 2 premierships in that time, and we played in 3. We played in 4 premierships in that side. In 26, 2006 is when it started, the end of 2006, and then pushed through to 2009. We were clearly the best team in the competition, and we were cheating the cap. So the results combined with, the fact that the punishment was so big just makes it memorable for everyone, I think.
I think the biggest factor for this too is that how loud Parramatta fans are and the Parramatta community are, because it cost them their 1 premiership that they haven't had for, what is it now, the longest 40 odd years. And so now, because that keeps getting brought up, Parramatta continue to live in the past around that, but forget that a few years later Parramatta cheated the cap too. So, it's when it affects. The thing is that when it affects your team, it's all about how the Storm cheated the cap. When it doesn't really affect your team, it doesn't really get brought up. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just, yeah, it's mind blowing. And for the last couple of years since I've started to become, I wouldn't say, like, I'll say it, but a public figure, because I've been on podcasts for the last couple of years. I'm not actually a public figure, but like, in that context, people have really ridden me quite hard because I'm a Storm fan and I don't acknowledge what happened. It's like, well, but as a fan, I didn't make those choices. I didn't do those things. But I have to live with what what the Storm organization did, and how, let's be honest, how dodgy it was,
Yeah.
and what we did. But it's, people sit there and continue to live in that past, that the only reason why we're successful now, or still successful now, is because we were so successful then, and we're still rolling with that success. It's like, no, there's a lot that happens that the Storm do that you just forget because we cheated once, unlike what others have.
Well, if you look back at 2016 and the Sharks, and they cheated the 3 years before that.
There's another one.
And it gets to the end of 2016, they win the premiership, and they turn the porch light off, and Sharks fans are carrying on. They've won their first one in 50 years. If the NRL administration come out there and had some balls and actually said you did cheat that year and we're taking your premiership, I think people would be putting Cronulla in that same boat. They've now lost the premiership. You'd be starting to tarnish them a little differently than what they've got off with. So I think the administration has a lot to answer for with why the fans and the fans of opposing teams feel like they do. And as you said, it was dodgy, it was bad, and whatever the punishment was, we just have to cop it. There's no, like, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and cry over spilt milk, basically.
We're not complaining about that. We did the wrong thing.
Take the premierships, give us the fines, do whatever you want. We've dealt with that. We've moved on. But I mean, other clubs just love to kick a successful team, and that's a real easy kick. It's like
it's actually very similar to the and people will have a laugh, and I'll say it anyways, but what's the one thing that the Roosters are renowned for? Having that really big, deep sombrero.
Yeah. I mean,
and it's because they've just been so good for so long, but they live on Bondi Beach, and it's where it is. Like,
if you can't prove, like, no one's proved it. Everyone talks about it. Everyone sees how they go and recruit. They've got this funny knack where Nick Politis and Burris can take someone out for dinner and wine and dine them, and as I've heard on other podcasts, wine, dine and 69 them, and look, they can sign these players, and they can get these big names to the club, and they can do it again and again and again, and everyone can whinge about the salary cap and, they're cheating and they've got a sombrero, but the facts are the facts. They haven't been caught. So
nope.
I'm going to say fair play.
It is. It's absolutely.
And I'll still talk about the sombrero. You know what I mean? Fair play, but I'll still talk about it because that's footy, and that's life.
That's exactly right. All right, mate. Let's end this on another little giveaway. So, by proudly and excitedly given to us by City Sports once again is the Melbourne Storm Captain's Run jersey. I'll put up a little picture and stuff, and hopefully I can make it fly through the podcast, but we'll do something in the post as well. It's very simple. You've got 1 week. If you follow and like our page, Purple Rain, on Facebook, and if you tag somebody, for every single tag, but that tag has to be by itself. You can't tag 10 people in the one comment. It's got to be 10 comments specifically. If every tag of someone that you tag in the Facebook post gets an extra entry. So, Aaron, basically that means that if you tag 100 people and you like the post and you follow our Facebook page, you have 102 entries into the giveaway.
That's it. It's pretty simple, this one. 1 tag, 1 line, 1 entry. 1,000 tags, 1,000 lines, 1,000 entries. If you want to win, just keep tagging people.
Tag him, because Aaron's on this one.
I
So
put my hand up. I'll do the count this time. I will count
we
them.
got to we got to test Aaron's counting skills.
That's it. I'll get my abacus out and we'll do this.
The abacus. Oh, fantastic. Guys, get in it. How exciting. This is number 2 giveaway of 5 for the year. It is only going to be for a week. It'll be just before the Penrith Storm game will be drawn. So you've got just under a week, less than 6 days. Get in there, get it posted, get on the likes, but make sure you follow and like our Facebook page, because that is the one non-negotiable that you have to do.
All right, that's another podcast out of the way. It was a hard one. No one likes coming in here after a loss, especially after a loss like that. So we're going to try and keep it honest, and we're going to try and say what we need to improve, but we're also still Storm supporters, and we still follow the best club in the competition. So let's, as a fan base, let's keep it together, and let's try and be supportive, and let's get around the boys, because everyone knows we come out next week against Penrith, and who's to say we don't put in our 10 out of 10 performance, and we give the Panthers, who are looking like the premiership favourites, who says we can't give them a run next week? Like, I understand we're not going to go in there as favourites, but let's be honest, if we put our best footy together, I'm sure we give them a run for their money.
The first game in 5 that will go comfortably as underdogs, and I think we thrive in that position. Let's go Stormies. Thank you, Purple Rain Royalty, for listening. Get a like and subscribe. Do all that free stuff that helps support us. Have a great Sunday, Monday, or whenever it is that you listen to us. Have a great week, and we will talk to you on Tuesday for the TLT podcast.